Welcome to Hamburgers and Horror, the home of meat, monsters, and mind-controlling marshmallow goo. I'm Noah Hook, and today we're looking at the stuff.
When I was a little girl, I didn't think there was anything that I liked better than ice cream. Now I'm a big girl, and I've decided there's something I like better. Much better. It's called the stuff. And believe me, enough is never enough.
Are you eating it? Or is it eating you?
Everybody has to eat shaving cream once in a while.
This 1985 satirical sci-fi horror follows a private detective hired to investigate a new tasty treat that is taking the US by storm. The industrial saboteur makes his way into the factories and company headquarters where the stuff is supposedly manufactured. But he soon realizes the mysterious snack is hiding some sinister secrets. The stuff was written and directed by Larry Cohen. He's a B-movie legend whose work has spanned various genres, including horror films like It's Alive, God Told Me To, and A Return to Salem's Lot, as well as blaxploitation films like Black Caesar and Hell Up in Harlem. Most of his work leans into political satire and incorporates elements of police procedurals, both of which definitely apply to the stuff. His main inspiration was the consumerism and corporate greed found in our country and the damaging products that were being sold. Cohen found himself constantly reading in the newspapers about various goods and materials being recalled because they were harming people. The stuff stars Michael Moriarty from The Last Detail and Pale Rider, Andrea Marcovici from The Front and the Hand, Garrett Morris from SNL and Cooley High, Paul Sorvino from Goodfellas and Cruising, and Scott Bloom from John Q and Don's Plum. It seems to have been at least somewhat of a tumultuous set, with Garris later saying in interviews that he had no respect for the director Cohen. Cinematography was handled by Cohen's frequent collaborator Paul Glickman of God Told Me To and special effects. A variety of practical effects were used for the titular white substance, including ice cream, yogurt, barbasol, and fire-extinguishing foam. More complicated scenes relied on animation and superimposed images, some of which are pretty obvious today. And apparently some scenes utilized a foam made out of ground-up fish bones that smelled so bad that the actors had to bathe afterwards. The stuff premiered in theaters in New York and got pretty decent reviews up front, but unfortunately so few people saw those reviews because a hurricane hit New York at the same time. There was also an issue where it was really promoted as a straightforward horror film, which is not what the stuff is. But critics who were able to look past that largely enjoyed the satirical, zany, gory B-movie joyride they were taken on. It currently has a 73 and 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, along with a 3 on Letterboxd, so it has somewhat mixed numbers altogether. But this is exactly the kind of low-budget B-movie I absolutely love to watch and cover on the channel, so I probably get a little bit more mileage out of it than the average person. But thank you so much to my patron Horror Man Mike for requesting the stuff for me to review. And be sure to go check out Mike's YouTube channel as well. One of my favorite series by him is called Sequels Don't Suck, where he discusses horror sequels that live up to and sometimes surpass the original. But hey, with all of that said, it's probably time we get started. Are you gonna arrest me for indecent exposure? Cause we're watching the stuff. The movie opens on an employee of a Georgia rock quarry discovering some white shit coming out of the ground and immediately giving it a taste.
That tastes real good. Tasty.
He and a buddy chow down on it, devising a plan to sell the tasty stuff to the public. And bam! Just like that, the US has a brand new tasty treat called the stuff, which has a huge marketing campaign backing it up. The product is a big hit and has hit ice cream companies especially hard, causing the biggest ice cream executives and CEOs to assemble to discuss this new threat to their livelihood. Nobody can figure out what the stuff is made of, so they've hired an industrial spy named Mo Rutherford to gather intel for them.
You know why they call me Mo?
No, why?
Because every time people give me money, I always want more.
He was in the FBI before getting kicked out, so now he makes a living sneaking into companies and selling their secrets. They're skeptical of his skills at first, until Mo reveals that he's had one of them wiretapped since last night. He learns that the FDA is refusing to give them any info on the stuff, so they'd like him to start there. They hand him a big old check and he socks a henchman on the way out. Now we meet a boy named Jason sneaking downstairs for a midnight snack, but when he opens the fridge, he finds the stuff moving on its own. His mean-ass 1950s looking dad sends him back upstairs, not believing Jason about what he saw.
You listen to me, young man. You get your butt back upstairs to bed, you understand? Don't ever pull this on me again. Now move!
He too hoovers down some of that ooey gooey goodness. The next morning, Jason tries to warn his family not to eat it, but the fact it's 0 calories and tastes so darn good is too appealing. Mo's chemist is also unable to determine the stuff's ingredients, so he plans on stealing it. He heads to the studio filming a commercial for the stuff, pulling the director Nicole aside with an offer. He claims to represent a petroleum company hoping to rebrand, as she's the one who came up with a name and marketing campaign for the stuff. He tells her the company wants to buy her studio and put her totally in charge, which is enough to get her interested. Meanwhile, Jason goes absolutely apeshit at a grocery store, destroying every single display of stuff he comes across. Next, Mo visits Vickers, a longtime member of the Food and Drug Administration who helped test and approve the stuff.
You've got to understand that this is a dessert, not a prescription medicine.
He claims to love the stuff, even feeding it to his dog Ben, although he does retrieve a few documents from their testing that Mo can look over. Although, things seem a bit off as Vickers is terrified of his own dog. Mo spots a hoard of the stuff in his kitchen, which both Vickers and Ben chow down on once he leaves.
I've got a treat for you. In fact, I have a treat for both of us. We deserve it, don't we?
But that night, Ben turns on his master, seemingly spewing the stuff out of his mouth before killing him off screen. Oh yeah, the dog also unplugs a phone to stop his master from calling help. Mo heads to Stater, Virginia, where the stuff was first tested, where he learns that just about the whole town has moved away. He also gets jumped by a fun new character.
You're Chocolate Chip Charlie.
Well, I sure as hell ain't the Kentucky Colonel. Get off of me!
Charlie was the owner of a successful ice cream brand, but he was recently ousted by the board and the company was bought by the stuff. He came here to learn more about the stuff because the family members that ousted him left this town as a forwarding address before disappearing, so the boys check out the post office. The stuff-loving clerk does not want to help them.
Leave us alone. What do you mean, us, man? We're talking to you.
Although we do learn that all the residents have relocated to Midland, Georgia. The gassy fella excuses himself to the back, where the stuff evacuates his body and leaves him as a husk. The boys glimpse this and chase after the goo, but they get intercepted by a mob of stuffies. They fuck up a couple of the creamy creatures before narrowly escaping. Next, the boys stop at a random-ass diner, and once Mo realizes people out here are stuffies too, he sends Charlie to contact an old buddy of his in the FBI, while he heads down to Georgia. But it seems the stuffies are onto him now, as he's dodging assassination attempts in broad daylight. Mo meets with the stuff's primary distributor, which is run by this guy Fletcher. He isn't on the stuff, but is more than happy to make millions off the addictive material. They are the ones who first tested the product in Stater.
Everyone in Stater went to a little town called Midland, Georgia. Now, your conglomerate owns a mining company in Midland.
Let go of it, Mr. Rutherford. Can't stop it.
Fletcher isn't worried about Moe's threat to get them shut down, but he does offer him a job as their head of security. Moe feigns interest in taking the cash offered to him, but he does not intend on stopping. He returns to New York and fills Nicole in on the truth about his career and the dangers of the stuff, all of which she believes without question. He gets word about Jason's supermarket freakout and decides he needs to meet this little boy. Speaking of, our angry little fella finds that his family has become full-on stuffies. It's all they fucking eat. They are uncharacteristically happy, trying their best to convince Jason to try it.
Jason, I mean, there's something alive in yogurt. It's called benign bacteria.
But they are also quick to run him down when he makes a break for it.
Thought you loved this house, Jason. That's why we bought it.
What about your new room? We got you everything you asked for.
Are we asking you for so much?
Jason pours that slop down the toilet, and despite its best attempts, he's able to flush it. He refills the cup with Barbasol and pretends he's fallen in love with the stuff, at least long enough to make a run for it. Fortunately, Moe pulls up.
Who are you?
I saw it move too. Get in the back.
And despite a very long chase, they manage to lose the tireless stuffies.
I kind of just threw up in your car.
I know.
I'm sorry. I mean,
That's all
I just
right.
ate shaving cream.
Well, everybody has to eat shaving cream once in a while.
They join Nicole on her private plane, which they use to fly into Midland, Georgia. They meet with the marketing team based there under the guise that her New York team is planning to shoot some commercials here. Moe is pretending to be her personal secretary, while Sleepy Jason just stays on the plane, I guess. They reach the processing plant, which has several tall stacks filled to the brim with the stuff. They tour the facility where the stuff is packaged, although the foreman says they won't be able to see where the product is actually created. Back at the airstrip, Nicole's pilot gets suffocated and the little dude makes a run for it. He makes it all the way to Fletcher's mines, and for some reason, the little dumbass crawls inside a cargo truck that's definitely gonna get stuffed. The stuff company has arranged a motel for them to stay the night, and on the way, Moe posits that you have to eat a certain amount of the stuff before it controls your mind, and certain people are more susceptible to it than others. We also get my favorite stuff commercial.
That's nice.
Where's the stuff?
That night, Moe is attacked by the stuff, which clamps around his face to suffocate him. Nicole manages to douse it in liquor and light it on fire, which proves effective. A random stuffy appears out of nowhere and gets whooped by Moe, which sets off an even bigger trap that was set for them. I have a feeling Larry watched A Nightmare on Elm Street before filming this. They flee as the motel room bursts into flames, just in time for them to spot the stuff trucks on their late night mission. The Stuffies arrive at the rock quarry, which has been dug up to reveal a massive underground lake of stuff. Moe and Nicole witness the stuff's alien-looking nodes emerging from the liquid, seemingly supervising the human slaves as they work. He sends her to wait for him down the road in the truck while he dons the uniform worn by the workers as he plans to steal one of the trucks. While Moe plants the surrounding area with explosives, a voice over a speaker announces that soon world hunger will be a thing of the past as the Earth is providing the human race with all the sustenance it needs now. Jason's truck begins filling up with stuff.
You're inside my head! You want me to do what you made the rest of my family do? No!
But fortunately, Moe overhears his screams and takes off with it. He also blows the quarry to smithereens, effectively covering the stuff for now. Nicole is attacked by the post office worker, but Moe manages to run over his legs. This causes him to explode, and they pluck Jason out of the truck. They're pulled over by a stuffy officer.
Your hose is hanging out back there.
You gonna arrest me for indecent exposure?
Get your hands up where I can see him.
But Nicole is able to distract him with all of her talk about how hungry for the stuff she is. He helps himself to some stuff as well, which gets him conked out. Now the movie takes a decisive left turn as Moe brings them to a literal castle. It belongs to Colonel Spears, a super inappropriate, super racist, super paranoid conspiracy theorist ex-soldier who has started his own private militia. He tells Spears that the country is being taken over by a powerful communist corporation that's pumping citizens full of a mind-controlling drug, which is all he needs to hear to declare war on the stuff.
Oh yeah, their headquarters, they're less than 100 miles from here. Sons of bitches.
One of his militiamen returns the truck to the factory, but the guard pops him in the face. Spears and the others quickly gun the stuffy down, and the militia quickly takes over the factory.
There is no match for the American boy. We have never lost a war.
What about Nam, sir?
We lost that war at home, Sonny.
They discover the bodies of all the stuffies in a hangar, with it appearing that they all took cyanide pills. But they soon realize that the stuff has evacuated all these bodies and is on the move. Also, Mo hits these young, right-wing men with a thought-provoking question.
You think with these guns you got in your hands, you think you can shoot anything you don't like? Well, what if what you don't like is inside you? How are you gonna shoot it?
The stuff attacks Nicole and Jason when they get separated from the group, and it begins bursting out of the tall stacks to attack the militia. But it seems the stuff can only go so far, so it just stops fucking attacking, so the colonel has them fly back to Atlanta so they can broadcast a warning to the public. That was easier than I expected. On the way back, he asks Nicole for some help with his public image.
No.
No matter what I do, I give my body, I give my soul.
And they still don't like you.
They don't like me. They never have liked me.
At the radio station, they reconvene with Charlie, who Spears is absolutely horrified to see. Mo and Nicole are able to explain why he's important to be a part of the broadcast, which he reluctantly agrees to.
I will permit this colored man to speak.
Charlie joins Nicole in a private room so she can help plan his portion of the story, where he mentions that he knows what happens when the stuff exits the body. Holy moly, look at this bonkers ass shit. The stuff attacks Nicole and Jason again, but Mo is able to set it ablaze with a big, funny looking electrical wire. And that's the big climactic battle right there, I guess. Spears leads the warning message across as many radio stations as possible, warning Americans to stop consuming and selling the stuff immediately.
We are under alien attack by a substance which represents itself as a popular dessert known as the stuff.
Apparently it works, with the American people banding together to collect and destroy all of the stuff they can find. The stores and factories are blown up, and on television, Nicole takes personal responsibility for her role and apologizes. Mo pays a visit to Fletcher, who has now gone into business with Richards, the lead ice cream executive from the beginning. Fletcher plans to begin siphoning the stuff from new quarries across the country and mix it with Richards ice cream for a new product called the Taste. They've already tested the product on a small Illinois town, with it supposedly no longer taking control of people. Mo doesn't buy it though, and Jason brings in a big old box of the stuff. At gunpoint, Mo forces the men to consume as much of the stuff as they can. The fellas chow down on their product for hours, eventually doing so out of their own addiction for it.
Are you eating it? Or is it eating you?
Mo leaves them to be arrested for consuming the illegal drug, which has now moved on to the black market. The movie ends with a dealer receiving a shipment of the stuff, giving it a little taste test to make sure it's pure.
Enough is never enough.
And that's the stuff. Oh boy, this is such a fun movie. I should be really clear up front that this is a B movie through and through, so that comes with certain charms and limitations. There is a lot of really bad dubbing and voiceover that just doesn't match up with the actors at all. There are some really weird choices when it comes to the cinematography and music, and the editing is all over the place, bouncing around from different characters and different locations that sometimes makes the film a little bit hard to follow. But at the same time, I love the dramatic zooms, the dumbass music, the bad superimposing, and the fact we're just watching globs of shaving cream. Not everything about the film is especially well made, but it is especially fun to watch. Mo is such a funny fucking protagonist. I love the fact that they made Michael Moriarty look like such a goober, but also make him such a badass, constantly outclassing his opponents. His accent is also fucking gold. The Stuffies, the sleazy ice cream execs, and wild-ass chocolate chip Charlie create so many funny interactions and moments of dialogue. Jason and Nicole are the only two here that seem vaguely like real people, but even they have a lot of funny lines and personality. Most of the effects for the stuff are pretty rudimentary and provide that B-movie charm, but certain effects like the dog, the motel room, and Charlie's meltdown are all surprisingly impressive. The stuff clearly pulls from a lot of other sci-fi movies, most notably 1958's The Blob, but also things like The Thing and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's playing with a long-running trope of an alien species that is turning humans into mindless slaves, which of course stems back to Cold War fears of communism. But while most 70s and 80s horror films tried to reduce that fear down to subtext, the stuff brings all of those American ideals and fears right to the center stage. Spears is an absolute commie-fearing conspiracy theorist nutjob like fucking Alex Jones or something, but in this particularly insane situation, he and his band of right-wing doomsday or Rambo wannabe teenagers actually get to play out their fantasy of being the American hero. It's a great riff on the trope of the brave, all-American general, while also showcasing the horrid personal character of someone with 1950s morals and values. It's also so cool to me that this came out years before They Live, as it's exploring American consumerism and marketing in a lot of similar ways. This is a big satirical allegory for the ways that corporations advertise products that are unhealthy, addictive, or even life-threatening to people while portraying them as the hip, cool, even healthy thing to do. A corporation would sell you crack if they could, and it would make them money. The stuff is a big stand-in for all kinds of different drugs, ingredients, and products that actively harmed people, all while being promoted by big corporations and often the politicians that backed them. In particular, the film has taken a lot of jabs and poking fun at the Reagan administration. Reagan's policies caused a lot of deregulation of government programs, including a lot around food safety. Under the Reagan administration, corporate CEOs were able to get harmful food additives like Red Dye 2 pushed through the FDA, despite them having prior negative rulings, right into grocery store shelves, TV airwaves, and into beverages everywhere. He attempted to slash $1.5 billion from children's school lunches, proposing they reduce the portions and allowed less nutritious foods to be used in the lunches. Hell, they're the ones that pitched ketchup being considered a vegetable so that the USDA could limit school lunches to only one real vegetable. Under the plan, cakes, cookies, donuts, and pies could meet the bread requirements, and fucking relish would qualify as a vegetable. A lot of people fought back against these policies, and a nutritionist specifically said not only will children be eating more sugary, fatty, salty foods than before, they will also be led to believe that such foods are good for them. Sorry, went off on a little bit on a tangent there, but it's all relevant as hell to the film's plot, its themes, and the strategies that the Stuffies are using. They're simply telling people that the stuff is good for them through sexy commercials while never providing any ingredients, but the consumers are just conditioned to believe it. I also noticed that a lot of the first few people we saw eating it were kids. I'm sure that they were the initial target audience since it's so much like ice cream, that way they could get it in the doors and then convince the parents to try it as well. But while the stuff is food-focused and clearly acts like an addictive drug, it's also sourced from the ground like oil. It ties into government crimes and conspiracies like Agent Orange and MK Ultra, and it's made super trendy like every other strange fad that had its 20 minutes of fame in the 80s. The stuff is ultimately a critique of American capitalism, consumerism, and corporate greed. But it's also not trying too hard to be like some kind of intellectual essay. It's still very much about the funny characters and situations and the wacky effects. The stuff is super duper 80s, has some really funny characters and wild practical effects. It is bursting at the seams with cheesy, clunky B-movie charm and charisma. It's got a stuff addict dog, Michael Moriarty in a funny-ass toupee, chocolate chip Charlie throwing hands left and right, the piercing blue eyes of a little boy, the where's the beef lady, and so many practical effects exploding with shaving cream. If you're only into crisp, well-made, contemporary horror movies and you haven't dipped your toes much into 80s horror, this might not be the first film for you to check out. But if you love satire, if you love B-movies, cult movies, so bad they're good movies, or just weird-ass movies that make you say, what the fuck did I just watch? This is definitely for you. Oh, I also have a short list of questions about the plot that I sincerely could not answer, so if you have a hunch about any of them, let me know down below. Why did the stuffy dog kill his master? Was it just because he ran out of the stuff, or was it because he helped Moe? Why did the stuff leave the postman's body but then come back and re-enter it? Do you think the stuff was actually good and trying to end world hunger like it said, or was that just to quell any suspicion that not fully turned stuffies may have? And did Jason's family die in the end and now he just lives with Moe? Well, that's about it. Thank you so much to my patron, Horror Man Mike, for requesting the stuff for me to review. This was genuinely so much fun. This is the exact kind of wacky B-movie culty stuff I love covering on the channel. But have any of you seen the stuff? And if so, what did you think of it? And be sure to share your favorite quote from the movie with me down below, because there are genuinely so many good ones. I try to include as many as possible, but like every 5 seconds, there's something really funny being said. And be sure to tune in next week as we finally rank all of the Texas Chainsaw films. It's about damn time. Thank you all so much for joining me, and an extra thank you to my patrons. As always, I'm Noah Hook, and thanks for watching Hamburgers and Horror. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching my review of the stuff. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so you can keep up with all my horror reviews. And if you want to help support the channel further, you should check out my Patreon account. You'll be able to vote for future movies and franchises I cover on the channel. Thanks, y'all.